We made it this far without bringing up Hitler. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Picture This, the best picture movie review show hosted by the person who's seen the least amount of them, at least in the confines of this show. It is week something, and did someone say Time Warp? Because this is Cimarron all over again. My name is Alex, and I no longer want to be a film critic. With me is the person in charge of promoting this show, Jack Pinchuk.
Hi.
Hi, Jack. Also here is this show's moral compass, Matthew Chen.
Hi.
Hi, Matthew. And here to prolong this week's extra credit segment is Caleb Go.
There we go.
I watched all 10.
Good for you.
Yeah, really quick cleanup here, actually, for a second. Our thoughts and prayers do go out to the people of France, as I'm told that Adelaide Spence touched down there a few hours ago, and as such will not be joining us.
Hurricane Adelaide has reached Paris.
Yeah, sorry about that. Although I'm told they are having a nice time. Nice? I don't know. I'm not up to date with my French. So, yeah.
Nice.
That might have a hat. So they're not here. So do we want to do that, or do we want to let?
We'll do that first, and then we'll let Matthew explain.
Okay.
Yeah, let's start with negativity.
All right, y'all know how it is. Adelaide could not be here, or could be here, but isn't. So we are going to put 30 seconds on the clock. Pick a movie that they like from Letterboxd, and we're just gonna go for a bit. We're just gonna just do some light dragon. Does everybody have a movie picked out?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I got mine.
Okay. So and you know what? I'm just gonna say it. Adelaide, your attendance has been worrying me. So we're actually gonna do 31 seconds today. Today we're gonna do 31 seconds.
Okay.
And we're gonna get started here in 3, 2, and go.
David Alvarez is the worst Bernardo Eaton class ever. West Side Story is an atrocious remake. Spielberg shits all over the source material. Rachel Zegler is an overrated piece of shit. She's an awful actress and an even worse singer. Rachel Zegler is a little princess who does not deserve to be filmed. She does not deserve her opportunities. Ansel Elgort is not the worst part of West Side Story. While he's not a good actor, he's not as bad as Rachel Zegler is, or Ariana DeBose, both atrocious actresses in West Side Story. Awful movie.
Can't have it. Can't do it. I heard a few things in there. I heard Rachel Zegler. Someone was dragging West Side Story.
Yeah.
Oh, that was me. I was shitting all over the fuck on the Spielberg West Side Story.
Okay.
Thank you for coming, Coho.
Whoa!
Matthew,
Whoa! I don't agree with anything I just said. For the
I
record,
was sitting on Legally Blonde.
Legally Blonde. Okay, that's a choice. And Jack, what did you?
Batman Returns.
attaboy.
Dork. All right. So, and for the record, I did The Suicide Squad, the inferior version of that one.
I did hear that's the only thing I heard from you is an inferior MCU director. Was the only thing I heard, and I forgot what movie you did that stopped me in my tracks. I was like, "What movie are you talking about?"
Yeah, notably, I'm not a huge fan of the Suicide Squad. I think it is the inferior Suicide Squad film, and it's directed by a director that is frankly fine. All right, so that was that. Some cleanup from last week. Matthew Chen was not here to explain himself for Grand Hotel. Apparently, he has a mom that he loves. So we're going to give him here a minute to explain why he had that film so much higher than us. He gave it like a full star or something, which I think is crazy. Take the floor, Matthew Chen.
Yeah, no, I just found it to be a very delightful film. I really enjoyed the ensemble of performances and like all their chemistry together. Like I enjoyed their interactions and stuff. And so like I'm usually a vibe kind of person. So like I just enjoyed seeing these characters.
That's fair.
And like the acting is also just the best that we've seen so far too. So like I think great performance.
So far. Until this week, let's get into it.
Oh God, this week. Okay, so
Cavalcade.
So Cavalcade. A film that could roughly be described as existing.
I have decided that I have a new binary, like, best of what we watch and worst of what we watch scale to be used in just 3 words each. What a picture is good, and what a movie is bad. So this is what a movie. What a movie was Cavalcade.
I mean, how do I put this? I think this is the first week that I became like a film critic. As I sat down to watch this film with one Caleb Coho and one Jack Pinchuk, we were about 10 minutes in. And we're going to get to the plot point recap in a second. I know. We'll get there.
Oh, don't worry. Take your time. I don't remember fucking a thing. I have to bring up a synopsis for this week.
I sat down, and we were maybe 10 minutes into the film when I had the vague thought, oh no, is this going to be another kitchen drama? Is this going to be a kitchen drama? Kitchen dramas and war films. That's all I get from you, Britain. That's all I'm getting from you. And it was maybe the most foreboding thought I've had doing this show, because it ended up being like both. It was both a war film and a kitchen drama.
But the worst kind of war film, where we don't actually see any war.
Yeah.
Until like the very end.
Yeah.
There's the one montage.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the montage. Oh, the montage.
Holy shit,
We'll get there.
The montage.
Good Lord. Okay. I need a refresher. I think we saw this one very early in the week.
Yep.
And I can see the Googling, the furious Googling is happening.
Oh, so I have it. Don't worry. I have it here. I got it.
Okay.
I got it right here. All right.
It's going to be great.
So we're going to go back 100 years BK. That's before Coho, in the year 1899. Exactly 100 years. 100 years before me. We are on New Year's fucking Eve, where some British fucks are celebrating New Year's Eve. Their names are Jane and Robert Marriott, and they are the rich that Spence wants to eat with some sides of potatoes. They what the fuck is even happening? They're married for a while. They have 2 kids named Edward and Joey. And then Robert has joined the City of London Imperial Volunteers, the CIV, and is going to be leaving for the Second Boer War. And this is the point where Alex and I stopped and went, wait, what? And then it's followed up by Jane's brother being revealed to be fighting in the siege of Mafeking. And this is when we realized this is about people who are fucking genociding South Africa. That was a thought.
Yep.
Yep.
And by the way, this is we stopped the movie almost because we thought, okay, is this it? Are we doing blackface? Is this the moment? Is this the moment? Is this the gut check? Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Okay, well maybe they hired like actual people of color to do these roles, but it was fine. Don't worry about it.
It was fine because guess what? We don't see shit.
Anyway.
Because what happens is their butler Alfred mixes punch for toast, and the cook wears an outfit and for the celebrations. And then Alfred joins the CIV as a private and leaves. And then the Marriott's maid worries about what'll happen about the baby Fanny if Alfred dies or is hurt. And all this random kitchen drama bullshit's happening. And then Happy New Year. And then after that, we say goodbye. They go on the ships bound for Africa, and that's where this weird scene is, where he's like, kiss me, and then they kiss, and he's like, just turn away and keep talking, and she's talking to the wall, and he just walks away, and then she turns around and starts screaming for him and chasing after him.
I love this show. What will happen if you're not here? And he's gone.
Yep,
he's gone. Like he ran away from whatever.
He was just like, good, I can finally get her off my ass. I'm free.
What happened to us?
So then we go to the opera, and they're doing a musical number, like a 12-minute musical number, and then it is stopped and interrupted with them telling them that they have won the war and that they will return. This is the immediate next scene from him leaving for the war. And then 2 scenes later, he's back from the war. That's a great Oscar-winning screenplay, folks. I don't actually think it was nominated. Thank God the Academy recognized the script is ass. Anyway, Robert gets knighted. Alfred announced his wife and mother-in-law he bought his own pub. And now he's an alcoholic. The staffers are celebrating, and then everyone finds out that Queen Victoria died. Oh boy, everyone goes to the big-ass funeral for the Queen, even though Queen Victoria was probably a shitbag. It's a British monarch. They're all bad. All right, 1908. That's the next year. Flash forward 1908. So yeah, we jumped, what? We're like 9 years later from the opening of the movie. Fucking whoop-de-doo. It's not going fast enough. He's an alcoholic, managing his pub like a bad manager, and Ellen and Fanny. Fanny's now a schoolgirl, and they're all like embarrassed by him. And Ellen plans an event with Jane and her new son Edward, who's going to Oxford. And they're having
wait. Oxford?
Oxford.
Not Oxford.
Oxford. And they have like a really weird thing where they just shit on Oxford.
Yeah. Oxford.
Weird scene.
Right.
Yeah, weird scene where they're just shitting the fuck on Oxford. What a weird fucking scene. Anyway.
Is that the scene where there's like 7 seconds of just dead silence?
Yeah,
Yes.
like 7 seconds of them going like, "Oh, Oxford."
Anyways,
Cut.
It's like the most British scene ever. It's like I'm watching Downton Abbey in this scene. The British are coming. Anyway. Now at your local AMC this weekend. Not sponsored. Anyway. What the fuck even happens next? Someone got a leg injury. Alfred hurt his leg or something, right? He's drunk.
Yes.
He's rude. He destroys a doll that Jane gives to Fanny, and then Fanny runs away into the streets. And then Alfred chases her and beats up on some people, and then he gets run over by a horse-drawn fire engine. The end of Alfred.
Yeah. Thanks for
Roll
coming.
credits. Thank you for coming. That's Cavalcade. No, unfortunately not, because then the next summer in 1909, the Marriotts and Ellen and Fanny all meet up again on the seaside, and Ellen explains that they are living off the proceeds from the pub, which is now owned by Ellen, and Fanny is a singer and a dancer, and Edward is in love with Edith Harris, who was like someone he was in love with, and then this is when all of a sudden there's a big bombing fight over the English Channel, and we're all just like, hey, what the fuck? Why is this happening right now? What's happening right now?
And that's the moment where they're on the roof, correct?
Yep,
Yeah.
and they all decide we need to go to the roof to watch the bombs drop.
Yeah, dorks.
Dorks. My lighting is atrocious. I look very pale, and I'm not having it. Anyway, 3 years later, 1912, Edith and Edward are honeymooning, and they're on a boat, and they're talking about something. And then they're like, oh, we will always be happy together forever. We love each other. And then they walk away, and the life preserver behind them says Titanic on it. And that's the reveal. Hey, folks, these fuckers died on the iceberg. Did Edward get to ride on the fucking door with Ellen, or is she just as much of a bitch as fucking Kate Winslet? We'll never know. Anyway. Well, that's a story for 75 episodes from now. I love this show. All right.
You okay, Coho?
No. So it's very made clear that Edward and Edith died on the Titanic. Yep. Then 1914, World War One. Yeah, that's right. It's another fucking World War One movie. We are in love with it. We love it. We can't get enough of World War fucking One in these movies.
And thank God we almost don't see any of it, because like most
we do
of
see.
Yeah, well, there's like a scene where they're like, another war? Well, it'll be great. Yeah, the last one was fun. Yeah, so we'll just go have another war. It'll be awesome. Yeah, it'll be over soon. Like it can't possibly last for like years. It'll be over in like months. And then
yeah, because the last one only took 2 scenes. Remember?
Yeah, I remember. Which, to be fair, yeah, I guess.
Robert and Joe Marriott are officers thinking the world will be over within a few months. And then Joe finds Fanny Bridges from their childhood performing as a singer and a dancer in a nightclub. And he really creepily reintroduces himself. And then the Zeppelin air raid on London happens. So maybe I messed up scenes. But there's 2 bombing. There's 2 bombing things, and they're identical scenes. Who cares? Anyway. Fanny and Joe are in love, and Joe survives the next 4 years of the war despite all of his fellow units being killed in action, which is very sus. I think he's the imposter. And he proposes, and she hesitates to say yes because he's poor and she's rich, and she does love him though. The armistice happens in 1918. Ellen finds out about Fanny and Joe's love affair. And they find Jane and tell her, and Joe's going to marry Fanny when he comes back. And Jane is mad at Ellen and yells at him, and then Jane finds out that Joe died in battle. Yep. Another death off screen. Then she walks through the armistice celebration. Following the war, they show a montage of daily life becoming more and more chaotic and the social order further being disrupted, while some advocate that mankind work towards peace. That is the description according to Wikipedia. I'll be totally honest with you. It's the most horrendous montage I've ever seen on film and doesn't do any of that.
Well, it's a bunch of different ideologies yelling at you for several minutes. Listen, the guy dies, right? Thank you, Ko, for that adequate reading of a below adequate film.
Hold on. The last thing is.
Oh, wait, there's more?
Remember, this is the final scene. It's on New Year's Day, 1933. We end where we began. Except instead of being 100 years BK, it's like 75 years BK. Jane and Robert, they're old fuckers, and they're celebrating New Year at midnight, tells to past memories as well as to the future, and then it ends. And then I looked it up with Jack as to how to make a bomb that only takes me out. And that's how we end the movie.
This is a fact.
Somewhere in the middle of that. I'm the host of the show, so I have to come up with talking points. And I thought, what's a good place to start? The Wikipedia page is like a decent place to start. You get sources and all that. I went to the reception page. I thought, what were the contemporary reviews like? And I scroll down on my phone nothing happens in the plot of the movie, so it's very easy to ignore the film. I click open the reception tab. I look and I see that this was a favorite film of one Adolf Hitler. It's Wikipedia, so you do have to cite your sources. I screamed for a bit. I went, ah! I paused the film. I had to tell everyone that was watching at the time. I put it in our private chat. I clicked on the source, and it was behind a paywall. But don't worry, in high school, I was taught how to research stuff. So I did that. And I was able to find a newspaper clipping citing that Adolf Hitler not only had his own private film projection thing, he had an extensive movie collection. One of the favorites that he liked to show in the year was this film, Cavalcade. And then I thought, this is the most interesting film I've ever seen. It's not, but it isn't. It just became that for a while, as I thought, if I was a white supremacist, and to be clear, I am not.
Important distinction to make.
To be very clear, I am not.
This show does not support white supremacists in any way.
It does not. Adelaide is not here, but they agree. The other two aren't speaking, but I'm sure they also agree.
Well, Jack's Canadian. We can't assume. Jack's Canadian. We cannot assume. He's from Alberta. We cannot assume.
What about this film would interest a white supremacist?
Maybe it's the mass extermination of the South Africans, but maybe.
Maybe. Strong maybe. Is it the fact that every one of these characters are giant weenies? Maybe.
Most likely.
Maybe. I don't know. I didn't really. It wasn't like a thought I dwelled on. It was just something like, hey.
It's probably the Titanic reveal. He was probably very, very blown away by the Titanic reveal.
Oh, he loved that plot twist. And by the way, they get on a boat. They're like, the guy is like, will you marry me? Will you get on the grandest ship in the world with me? And I thought, grandest ship in the world? Post 20th. Post turn of the century.
Oh, we were all sitting there. All of us sat there. We started articulating. We were like, "This isn't the Titanic, right? They're not on the Titanic. They wouldn't do that. That's fucked up. They wouldn't do that." And it got to the point where we convinced ourselves it wasn't the Titanic, and then they revealed it was the Titanic, and we all started screaming.
This is.
Yeah, I saw the Titanic scene and I just started laughing when they showed it.
Oh, no. Alex and I audibly started shrieking.
I just laugh.
Honestly, if you get 9 people who have a vague understanding of world history, and you just sit them down and watch this film, you're like, wait, it can't be. It's actually, in that instance, it's actually a bit more fun to watch. I cannot imagine having watched this by myself because I don't get the Adolf Hitler reveal. I don't get the Titanic reveal. I don't get the where was the war? I don't get the Coho. I've done stage shows. Nothing's interrupting that performance. Yeah, no. I don't care what war just ended. Nothing's interrupting that performance. It's the very end of the show. We can wait. Yeah. Like, there's so much that you don't get watching this by yourself that genuinely I don't recommend watching it at all if you can't watch it with like 4 people.
Exactly. So yeah.
Okay.
Thoughts on Cavalcade? Everyone.
That's Cavalcade. The editing is better than Cimarron's.
Still
in
shoddy.
That
it's
not
it's shoddy, but it's better than Cimarron.
It is less racist, I guess.
Slightly.
Oh, that also brings me to the question. Jack, get the song. Not that one.
Oh.
Not that one. Jack, get the song. Welcome to How Gay Is My Valley, the podcast of the podcast. I am your host, Caleb Coho, joined as always by my co-host, Alex Martinez. Here's the deal, folks. This movie is anti-gay, just like Cimarron. How gay is this movie? -0. It's not gay. If anything, it stifles all sense of horniness or human emotion, except terror.
Yeah. People are like in love in like a
are they
newspaper clipping kind of way. That's like true. Like Garfield cartoon kind of way. They say it. They sit in rooms together, but like. No. If they hadn't known each other since they were kids, would they really be in love? I don't know. I don't think you can make that. I don't think you can make that argument. Yeah. This movie has stiflingly little romance, despite the fact that you're with a lot of these characters for years of their lives.
And none of them have a hint of homosexuality in their fucking body. Therefore, let's put it last and move on.
Below Cimarron.
I would say that it is.
No, there's more. There's more. I would say there is more
tension. You know what?
Tension.
You know what? You're right. I say you're right. This is below Cimarron, whereas Cimarron.
So the new list, Jack. What is the new ranking with Cavalcade for How Gay Is My Valley?
I am pulling it up right now. Give me
Let me explain to the people at home. You know how you run into someone that in high school that's like very homophobic, and then they come out 8 years later, you meet them 12 years later, and you're like, oh, I see what was going on. You were just very gay at the time, didn't know how to cope. I get it. That is Cimarron. Cavalcade is just, I am not aware that gay people exist. This movie is not aware of them. They might as well not exist. That is the thing that's going on in this film.
Ah, shit.
We have so many lists, guys.
We do have so many lists. Okay, so the new list for How Gay Is My Valley is number 1, Grand Hotel. Number 2, All Quiet on the Western Front. Number 3, The Broadway Melody. Number 4, Wings. Number 5, Cimarron. And now number 6, Cavalcade. Thank you so much. Jack, hit the song.
I don't know.
Thank you so much.
The song for the next few weeks is gonna be a little off key. That's okay. It's all right.
It'll be a little weird, but it's all right. I will make someone else do the song every week. Don't worry, Jack. It won't just
Thank
be
you. Thank
Matthew. You. Matthew, get ready. You're doing it next week. Just like you're gonna have to do the song.
All right. That is most of the bits, and I'll be honest. Cavalcade is not an interesting film. Cavalcade is not a good film. There are no standout performances that I can decipher.
No.
I mean, Diane Wynyard is probably the closest thing we have to a standout, and she's not great.
Like, yeah, I have the folder of standout performances, and there's 0 names in here. I couldn't think of
You may as well have watched a random episode of Downton Abbey. It will have done you just as much good, and you will have just as much an understanding of British culture.
I will advocate for Diane Wynyard being our default choice. She's the only person that I cared to remember the name of because of her performance. I would say we call her the standout and put her last.
That's fine with me. Below Dick Dix, though?
Do we remember Dick Dix, do we?
That's fair.
Yeah.
Anyone have any objections to putting him below Dick Dix?
No.
There we go. Cavalcade, bottom of the list for standout performances as well.
Great.
So my general thoughts on Cavalcade. It's boring. Boatman says it best. This is British Forrest Gump minus having an interesting lead. Like, they just go through historical events bit by bit by bit with characters that I never connect to or give a shit about. With a lot of really baffling screenplay decisions. The Titanic reveal is literally the only thing I can remember. That's because it is like genuinely off, like taking you way back by that weird decision to make that a twist. This didn't deserve any of its nominations whatsoever, except maybe production design. Like, maybe, if I'm being generous. Yeah, and I think that like low-key kind of leads us into the next bit, but that's up to Alex.
What is the next bit? What were you
I was gonna say extra credit, but yeah.
No, it's time. I don't have anything to say about Cavalcade unless anybody else has like.
Before,
oh sure, yeah, these two. I think you want to say.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't have anything more to say about the movie. I think I agree with co-host. It's very boring. Right. But I had some fun facts about it that I found.
Yeah, let's go. Fun facts with Matthew.
So this is the first film to use the word. One of the first films to use "damn" and "hell," which were used in the play originally because of pre-code era. Like, it was able to do that. And then also, Cavalcade and Titanic have things in common. They both won Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Art Direction, and were both produced by Fox.
Interesting.
Honestly, I dig that. Those are interesting fun facts. Those are genuinely fun facts.
Fox, stop it.
This is the first time Fox won Best Picture, right?
Yes, it is the first time Fox won Best Picture.
What an absolute shit fire to enter the world of Best Picture winners with. Fox is like traditionally the best studio at the Oscars. Like, they traditionally make the best Picture winners of all time. It's usually Fox. The ones that we look at, that we go, these are the best ones, they're usually Fox. And like, this is the first time they won, and you're like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, oh man, I don't know. So far, looking at what we have for Best Picture winners, and then comparing it to the studios who have won, Universal killing the game. They're 1 for 1 so far. Yeah. RKO, dog shit. MGM, 0 for 2. Famous Players Lasky, who the fuck are you? Get out of here. It's literally just, and Fox now. So yeah, Universal, you're killing the game. You're the only one that's like 1 for 1 on a hit. So good job on All Quiet on the Western Front.
All right, Jack, do you have any thoughts on Cavalcade before we move on to like a real segment?
Not particularly, like, honestly.
Which is the meat and potatoes of what this episode.
You know what? Let's just do it. Let's just get the star ratings out of the way. Because, like, honestly, we're only going to talk about good movies from what I understand from here on out. So, like, let's just get the star ratings out of the way. Jack, what did you put Cavalcade at? How many stars? Because it's one star. I said stars. Star. I apologize. That was rude. 1 star out of 5 for Jack. I believe it's not good. Adelaide is not here, but do we have a star rating from Adelaide? It's too many. That's too many. That's a lot.
I mean,
solely because I have to. It's I think it's better than Broadway Melody, which I also have at 1.5. So
yeah, that's fair.
Your boy goes 1 star. It's not good. I did not have fun. I was pretty fucking miserable. So 1 star. which corresponds on the Caleb Coho letterboxd star rating official at 1 star means I hate Cavalcade. Yeah. So there you go.
Which is something that we said repeatedly while we watched it. And I also gave it exactly 1 star. 1 star for me, what it means is that this is legally a movie. If I ever give anything a 0.5 star, I don't think it's a film. I don't think it's cinema. I don't think it's a narrative. I think it's weird and bad and I hate it. But like 1 star is it's a film. It exists. It joins the proud members of the also 1 star club. Things like Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, and Kangaroo Jack. Suck it, Jake. So you can't. Yeah. So that's that part of the episode. We largely hated it. It's not a good movie. Yeah. The average rating for the week is 1.2 stars out of 5. Nobody watched this film. It's bad.
It's bad.
So where do we want to put it on our best picture rankings?
Next to Cimarron.
I would vote. I would also vote for above the Broadway Melody.
Where is
the Broadway Melody? Well, the rankings as they stand right now, I believe it's number 1, All Quiet on the Western Front, number 2, Grand Hotel, number 3, Wings, number 4, the Broadway Melody, and number 5, Cimarron.
Here, I'll pull it up.
Yeah, let's pull it up because I need to remember. Because I'll be honest, I think that this is dead on. I nailed it.
I nailed it.
Yeah, you did. Mm-hmm. I would nominate for just above Cimarron.
I go above the Broadway Melody.
I just said I would go above the Broadway Melody.
Okay.
I would also vote above the Broadway Melody. Well, I think the Broadway Melody is genuinely a more offensive film. The argument comes down to which would I rather watch. I think it would be the Broadway Melody just because it's shorter. But I never want to see either again. And on artistic quality, I would say Cavalcade has a little bit more of artistic merit than the Broadway Melody as a film. So I would lean Cavalcade as being better.
All right. So I'm outranked on this one. The Cavalcade officially joins our rankings at the number 4 spot. Technically, keep in mind that
we have one good Best Picture winner so far.
Keep in mind we have had one, I think, truly great film.
2.
Debatable.
I don't know about that. So we're gonna get into the meat of this episode as we close down the power rankings for this week and get out of that shit show. We're going to enter another shit show entirely as we get to our extra credit segment. Jack, hit the clip.
Extra credit.
All right.
This week.
Yeah, we are going to. Okay, so this week's gonna be long. That's why we kept the other thing short. Because one of us watched all of the nominations, all the nominees. Some of us watched several of the nominations, and some of us watched a few nominations. So we're going to do this in ascending order, and Co's going to tell us about all the ones that the rest of us missed. So we're going to have you chill out for a second as we get to some of the nominations that we've watched. Who watched Little Women? Okay, great. That's not the way we should be doing this. Who watched the least amount?
State Fair.
I watched the least amount. I watched the least amount.
Okay, what did you see?
I saw The Private Life of Henry VIII, and yeah,
That's it.
That's it.
Okay, so Jack, tell us about The Private Life of Henry VIII.
Well, this movie works solely because of Charles Laughton's performance. He deserved to win that one, from what I can tell, and I've heard from the person that has seen all of them that he did indeed deserve to win for this. It's actually kind of hilarious. His performance, it's a lot of fun, even though it is like from a not good person from history. But no, it's a very lively, energetic performance from Laughton, and honestly, it's just watch the movie for him alone. Also, the actress who plays Anne Boleyn was really good in her one scene. I thought she would like there's been they didn't have supporting performances yet, but if they did, she probably should have been nominated for a great performance in her one scene, but they didn't have that category yet. So yeah, no, honestly, I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars.
I also watched Private Life of Henry VIII. I thought it was great. Charles Laughton is the funniest actor we've had so far. His just eating him just like eating a jumping what I can hope is either gravy or alcohol on like a dry bird and being like eating. I think I described it as eating like a dog that you've asked another room if it has something in its mouth, and the dog's like. It's like the funniest thing, and him walking. He walks like he has a wooden brace between his knees. Like the opposite ends of his legs must never meet. He walks in a way that's purely comedic. And he's like, he can be threatening in some movie scenes, but he's like, this is almost an entirely comedic performance as this like old lech like goes through life being bullied into marriages by his barbers and like his underlings, and just like dealing with palace life in just like a really fun way. Did anybody else see The Private Life of Henry VIII?
Yeah,
Matthew, and I know you saw it. Matthew, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just think this is it's a really fun time. I think Charles Laughton's performance is just dominating. He just commands the screen, and it's really fun to see him play Henry VIII. And it breezes through his wives, but I think I really like Anne of Cleves, where she's just like playing this person to like make herself look unattractive. I just thought that was really fun.
That's a fun scene. She's like hustling the king out of like money and like households and like the person she actually wanted to marry, and he's like, "Yeah, you do it. You give me a divorce." Yeah, I do it, but like I don't know. That's a great scene. Coho, tell us about The Private Life of Henry VIII.
Yeah, I think this movie is like delightfully fun. Like which is weird to say when you're talking about like one of the most horrendous figures in the history of like the world. Henry VIII, I think, is embodied super well by Charles Laughton. I think he absolutely deserved to win Best Actor. It's close with another performance we'll talk about later, but I think he deserves to win it. I think the criticism is valid that it doesn't really give much attention to the wives, but it's not really about the wives. It's about Henry, which is sort of the focus of the character in that time. It's a very comedic character piece. It uses humor to deflate the tyranny of this person and depict him as the man-child he was. And I think that's a really interesting way to take the piss out of one of the worst people in history. I really respect the approach. If you're looking for more of a like a more wives-centric approach to that story, the musical 6 exists, and it is quite fun. It's very, very, very entertaining, and definitely better than this movie. But I enjoyed it. I would actually go to the point where I would say I really liked The Private Life of Henry VIII. I gave it 4 stars. I think it is the second best movie I watched for this podcast in general.
Wow. So. Matthew, just because I don't remember you saying, but what did you give it star-wise?
I gave it a 3.5.
Okay, that's pretty good.
That's a reason that like 3.5 is the reasonable person's thing. It's me maybe going the half-star extra because of how much I like Lot.
Yeah, I will say that I actually really liked a lot of the wives, so I actually did give it 4 stars. I think that even in that they don't have a lot of screen time necessarily, all of them, but most of them actually, with what little screen time they do have, they actually do get quite a bit of personality. You at least understand that like marrying the king is like an interesting proposition to a lot of them, although they're not all like on the same level enthused about the prospect. They're like, he did kill the last few of them. I don't know if that's the best plan, but I mean, it could be queen. I don't know. It's pretty good. Matthew, how many did you? Because I think I
watched 9 of them.
So where do we?
Okay, so then I definitely saw. So we're gonna get to.
So where do we want to put Henry VIII?
Huh?
Extra credit movies, like our ranking of them.
Number 1, my lord.
I'll be honest. I need to see the list.
I like it more than. I'm the only one who saw Skippy, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you won't.
I would put it under Shanghai Express, but that's.
I gave it 4 stars. I don't remember what Koho gave Skippy, but if he says that it's above. If he said it's above Skippy, then he's the only one that have watched that movie. He has to be deciding background.
Right, and I think it's better than Skippy. Yeah, I think it's better than Skippy. As the only person who saw Skippy, I think Laughton is like... Those 2 movies are both very lead performance-centric. And if you're going to go Jackie Cooper and Skippy versus Charles Laughton and Henry VIII, you got to go Charles Laughton and Henry VIII. So,
all right. then for right now, it is official. The Private Life of Henry VIII takes the top spot above Skippy. For now, we have several movies to talk about, and I have seen co-host rankings.
Another thing is, I watched In Old Arizona just to, so I could have a better grasp of the extra credit, and I would put it below the front page. So there's that.
Fair.
Okay.
We made the correct choice. I'm glad you're with me on that one. It's not good.
So that leads to me as we are going to. I don't know if we should just remove the page because we have a lot to talk about for this extra credit. I watched, and I know some of you did too, the 1933 version of Little Women, directed by George Cukor, starring Katharine Hepburn, who is just delightful. She's just great. And if you really like Katharine Hepburn, boy, have I got a film for you, because it's just her. That's it. It's mostly just her. The other sisters are barely in it. A lot of the conflict between the sisters is cut from it, which is, to me, played really weird. But honestly, I'm sure it's just like a thing of the times where people didn't really want the conflict, or at least the director or the person that did the script thought, do people really want this right now? They thought perhaps the answer was no. It's still really interesting. It's still a really good adaptation of Little Women. I just do think it's missing some of the conflicts. Like I got through almost the end of it, and I thought, I think there's more scenes than this, right?
With Amy, like everything with Amy is just like,
everything with Amy, everything with Meg. Meg is cut out from the film almost entirely. And I think the only character that gets about the same amount of time that they normally would is Beth, because it's Beth, and we dare not touch Beth. So I really liked it. I think I gave it around 4 stars, if I'm not mistaken. Matthew, I believe you saw Little Women. Did you?
I did too. Yeah. No, I think it's just like you said, it's a very charming movie. I think Katharine Hepburn is just amazing as Jo, and it is Joe's movie. This is very focused on Jo March. So I think Hepburn just she grabs the spotlight and does a really great job.
Yeah. Coho?
Yeah, I think this movie is good. I like it. I think it lacks a lot of what makes Gerwig's version good. I have a lot more respect for what Gerwig did with hers, because now seeing what the very first adaptation of that movie looks like, it's kind of nuts to see the almost 100-year difference between the two different takes. I think Katharine Hepburn is the best Jo March. I think she's better than Saoirse Ronan. I think that she is perfect, like born to play that part. She is the movie. I think the reason why I liked it so much is because of Katharine Hepburn's performance. And I'm so glad she won Best Actress that year for something, because if it wasn't Morning Glory, she should have won for Little Women.
She should have won for Little Women. Right.
Yeah, brilliant. She should have won for Little Women. But I also think it's very interesting how much of a hit this was the year. It was the 3rd place for Best Picture. It was a huge draw for people, and I think that comes from a lot of the themes of Little Women being similar to the Great Depression of what they were going through, where it's like the very similar poverty-stricken times that they had during the Civil War when this was first set and released. And war, having just come out of World War I and Civil War, I think they drew a lot of parallels and inspiration from it. I think Little Women was just a really timely movie for them at the point. And I think it's good. I like Little Women. I think Katharine Hepburn is the real big draw from it. So,
all right, we got to bring up that rating again. We got to bring up the rankings. I gave it 4 stars. I think Katharine Hepburn could not be denied for this movie. I also really like the performances from the characters, Mr. Lawrence and Laurie. Beth was all right. Aunt March was very good. I would probably put it, if I had to nominate right now, I would probably say I liked it less than The Private Life of Henry VIII. I would put it as number 2 so far, but I did not see Skippy, so that is my gentle nomination. If anyone has other ideas, now it's time.
I would put it below Skippy, above Sunrise. I gave it 3.5. I think it's good. I like it. I like it more than most people probably do. But yeah, I would slot it below Skippy, which I think just is a better script. I think it's a more cohesive and well-made movie than Little Women. Little Women is a little meandering, and if it's not about Jo March, I think the movie sort of falls apart. So I would slot it above Sunrise for having dialogue and sound. and below Skippy for not having a complete plot.
Fair enough. Matthew?
Personally, this is my favorite, but I don't mind it either below Private Life or below Skippy. I'll compromise like that.
Where does that put it? Sorry?
Yeah. Because I haven't seen Skippy. I'm okay with putting it below.
Okay. So, all right. Someone's gonna have to watch Skippy and tie break this. I think I will watch Skippy, and then we'll do an update to this ranking at some point. All right. So that is Little Women takes its place at number 3 in our extra credits. As we roll on with the extra credit segment, I watched a great movie. My first Capra, I watched Lady for a Day, and it was dope. It was awesome. It was really funny. I thought the plot was really charming. I thought everybody was great. I thought I liked Little Women, and then over the course of the week, I kept thinking about Lady for a Day. It's absurd in like the best comedic way possible, where you just your brain agrees, okay, I guess this is happening now, I guess we might as well accept it. Matthew, did you see Lady for a Day?
I did see Lady for a Day.
Tell me what you thought.
Yeah, no, I really liked it a lot. I think Mae Robson as Apple Annie, she's great. Like, I think she just gives a great performance, and I think it's fun to see her character throughout the movie, and like seeing how they dress her up to look more like upper class. And there's also just some really great character names too. You got Dave the Dude. You got Missouri Martin. Yeah, just some. Yeah, it's a fun time. But I think the gangster subplot kind of felt a little unnecessary for me. I think it dips a little bit in quality because of that. But I think it's because of Robson who really stands out.
All right. Coho, I know you saw it.
I did. This is my least favorite movie that I've seen from Frank Capra. Which is not to say it's bad. It's to say that it is prototypical. There's a lot of early Capra-isms that he hasn't quite fully developed. You could tell he's still figuring out his style and his technique. And I think next week we will see it honed to the beginning of its full potential, where Frank Capra will become Frank Capra next week. But this is the first movie where you can see Frank Capra start to become Frank Capra. I think it's good. I enjoyed it. I think, like you said, Mae Robson is the correct Best Actress winner of the nominees, probably. I think she should have probably beaten Hepburn for that one, but I haven't seen Morning Glory. I would say if it were Little Women, I would say then Hepburn deserved to win. Yeah. I'm guessing you agree with me. Yeah. But yeah, I think that Robson's terrific. I think it's a fun plot. I think the first half drags way too much, and the second half picks up and is interesting and is a great movie. It took me 2 tries to get through Lady for a Day, which is the problem for me. I don't know if I was just tired or what, but it took me 2 tries to get through Lady for a Day. I like it. I don't love it. It is my least favorite movie Frank Capra has made that I have seen, and I have seen now 6. So
fair enough. Jack didn't see it, doesn't get a vote. Bring up the rankings again. I'll be honest. If I had my druthers, this would be at the very top. I love this film. I like the absurdity got to me. It really did. I'm willing to admit that as a general thing. So I would nominate it at the very top. It sounds like it's going to be around number 3 or 4, if I had to guess. Matthew, what are your thoughts?
So I would put it at 6. I think I like Shanghai Express more, personally. So,
you have.
See, I would put it above Sunrise, below Little Women. And even then, it's close between that Little Women, because I think Lady for a Day is a more complete movie than Little Women, but I would probably rather watch Katharine Hepburn's performance in Little Women more, because between the two, that's what stands out to me the most. So yeah, I would say I would put it 4 right below Little Women.
I think that's like a good
start watching
right in the
these
middle
credits so I can defend Sunrise better.
All 3 of us.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I guess between all of us, that probably puts it around number now 4. So Lady for a Day takes its place at number 4, joining the rankings. just after Little Women, just before Sunrise, A Song of Two Humans. All right, that's it for my end as we get through the stuff that Matthew watched, where I no longer have a say.
Okay.
Where do you want to start, Matthew? I think we should save a very specific one for the second to last, because if we're going to end on the one that I think I haven't seen, then I'd rather end on that second to last. So
Okay. Well, then we can start with 42nd Street, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good starter. Let's start with 42nd Street.
Yeah. And I can start by saying I think there are some really great dance numbers. Like I think just the choreography and that like final show sequence is amazing. And the plot for me wasn't super interesting, but I think I still really enjoyed watching it. Just yeah. It's a movie that inspires a lot of musicals. So I was really happy I watched this one.
Yeah, 42nd Street is a movie that like you can clearly tell is the inspiration for the musical genre on film. It is the template for a lot of musicals going forward. And for that, I respect it. There's a lot of things about it that I think are really impressive for being from 1933. But I was very bored at points. I think the melodrama gets tedious to follow. There's too many plot lines with too many identical looking women for me to really keep track who does what. I think the ending is a really weird ending. It's a very weird place to end the story, which are my big hangups about it. But I think on the whole, it's a good movie. I enjoy it. Yeah, I think it's good. I like it. Yeah, decent. I would probably, going to the extra credit list, put it below Sunrise, above Shanghai Express, but I have not seen Shanghai
I would
Express.
put it under Shanghai Express. So
I can back you up on that then.
Okay.
There we go. Next movie.
You pick, Matthew.
Let's go to She Done Him Wrong.
Sure, we must. She Done Him Wrong is fine. It's a very short, weird movie about Mae White, is this actress
Mae West.
who is Mae West. I don't know where I got White from. Mae West, who is just like this like floozy, slutty lounge singer who is just playing a bunch of dudes over because she's attractive and like getting what she wants out of each of them for no apparent reason, because you don't really get what she wants, and then she kills a bitch. And there's a guy from jail that's trying to come kill her because he knows she's cheating on him. And it's it's weird. The only person in this movie of real note is that Cary Grant's in this.
Yeah, it's an early Cary Grant role, which is,
and he's like not Cary Grant yet. Like you're watching him and you're like, they waste him in this like very strong, silent, I'm the attractive hero type part, and then don't do anything with him. And you're like, this is like to steal Cody's words, this is like one of the funniest actors of all time. He's like the original Jim Carrey, according to Cody. So like, and for him to not be funny whatsoever, this is kind of wild. I don't know. I felt like a total waste of Cary Grant.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And I just think the movie it's fine.
Yeah, like the plot is very thin. Like you just described it very quickly, and then I enjoy Mae West. I would love to see her in something where she has like more to do and like a better story at least. But yeah, she was definitely fun to see here. At least.
Yeah, I gave that one 2.5 stars.
Yeah, that's what I give it to.
All right, where does it fall for you guys on the ranking?
I would put it above the champ, below the front page, probably. Unless you,
I would put it above the front page. So
I can do that. I would not put above the divorcee, but I'll back you up on above the front page then.
Okay. Fair enough. All right,
Where
what's
to?
next?
Let's see. Let's do a Farewell to Arms.
Oh boy. Yeah, okay. A Farewell to Arms is boring as shit. I am so done with the World War I movie era. I'm like so done with the World War I, Great Depression era war movies, because none of them are interesting except for All Quiet on the Western Front is the only one where I was intrigued by what the fuck was happening. Gary Cooper and Helen Hayes are fine in the leads. I think they're good. Their romance is fine. I think the ending sort of comes. Yeah, it's very rushed, and the ending sort of comes way the fuck out of left field, where it's just like, wow, that just happened. And his best friend is like a total jackass to him for like real no reason, and like does some really horrible shit, and then we never see what happens to him. The movie feels like it ends really abruptly. Yeah, I don't know. I think if Harold Arms is like fine.
I think it's fine.
Yeah. All right. Where does it rank for you guys?
Oh, I would put it. I'd put it below The Champ.
Okay, that's fair. I haven't seen The Champ, so I trust your placement.
Yeah, The Champ is at least got a plot. I don't know.
Fair.
Smiling Through?
Yeah, Smiling Through.
Yeah, Smiling Through exists, huh?
I really like Smiling Through. Like I thought it was pretty charming. Like Frederick March and Norma Shearer, I really like their chemistry, even though like it is love at first sight, which can be hard to buy sometimes. But I thought they had great chemistry together, and like I also enjoyed seeing their dual roles. I thought the flashback was like interesting, and there's some ghost effects which I thought were pretty well done. But yeah, I just really like the relationship.
I think this has two performances that keep this from being an utter waste of space. I think Frederick March and Norma Shearer are like both fantastic. But I thought this was completely mid. This is like a 3-star movie. It's like right down the middle mid. I think the plot drags. When it hits, it's good. The flashbacks are okay. Like you said, I like the ghost effects. I think the ending's kind of weird. Like the ending really kind of put me off towards the whole thing. But like, I think Frederick March is like genuinely great. And if they had supporting categories, he probably would have been my best supporting actor winner that year. I know people would probably be like, "Oh, but he's top billed." It's like that doesn't make any sense. He's barely in the movie. Like he's in the movie like 30% of the runtime, and Norma Shearer is like very definitively the lead. I'm actually really surprised Shearer didn't get nominated for this because I think she is fantastic in this movie. It's mid.
Where does it rank?
Oh, that's a great question. I would put it above The Divorcee, below Seventh Heaven, unless you like Seventh Heaven.
I would put it above Seventh Heaven.
Okay, then that's as high as I'd put it. I wouldn't put it above 42nd Street, personally.
Okay.
Fair enough. Any others that we're missing?
Okay.
So we're on to that one, right?
I think so. Yeah, is that everything?
Yeah, that's everything that we saw except for...
okay, so... State Fair, which I never saw.
Right, so we're on I'm a Fugitive then, right?
Yeah.
All right, you can start.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably my favorite of all of the Best Picture nominees. I think it's just a very tragic look at a person's life. He gets, wrongfully convicted of a murder and gets sent to this chain gang, and you really get to see like how terrible chain gangs were at the time, and like it's based on a true story as well. So I believe the person it was about was like still on the run when the movie came out. If correct me if I'm wrong, but I think
I think you're right.
Serves as like a really well done like critique on like the prison system and like the U.S. justice system. I think Paul Mooney is just amazing as the lead. I would agree with like putting Charles Laughton above him, but like I think you really get to feel for his character, and just like there's some really dark themes that it deals with, and so yeah, I really like this one.
I think this is by far the best movie we have watched for Picture This. This is the best movie of the entire podcast so far. This is 4.5 stars for me. I think this is like a brilliant exploration of the prison system using the antiquated chain gang, but I think the general idea of prison reform echoes to today. Like from then, even though it's not explicitly about the way we do the current prison system or anything, I felt very real parallels to the chain gang, and like their defense of the chain gang. I think Paul Mooney is brilliant. It's very close between him and Charles Laughton. I think there's just a lot of really masterful work with editing and sound, where like the gavel being hit turns into the hammer in the chain gang. Is like really masterfully done. I think the plot's just fantastic. They just like bring you in, and you're like, I care about this war vet, and then the situation where he's framed happens, and you're just like, oh fuck. And then when he gets away, you're like, yes, he got away. And then they find him, and he's like, and your heart sinks where you're like, don't take the deal, they're gonna fuck you over, dude. And he takes the deal, and you're like, fuck. Yeah, you really care for this guy. I think it is the best script, the best direction, the best overall movie I have watched for Picture This so far.
I would agree, honestly. Yeah,
I would put this number one with a bullet on the extra credit list.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Well, good to know. I'll just put that way up at number one then. Come on. There we go.
All right. Is there another one?
State Fair.
Yeah, there's one more.
So the last one, I'm the only one. Yeah, I'm the only one here who's seen State Fair. State Fair is delightful. It is a really sweet hangout movie at the Iowa State Fair, and that is just like not what I was expecting. It is a movie where like the older traditional parents are like very obsessed with their competitions and like succeeding, and then the two kids are just horny as fuck and make agreements with their two people that's like, we're just gonna like fucking hang out for the entirety of the fair and then go back to the people that we're actually seeing. Like basically whatever happens at the fair stays at the fair, and it leads to like two really interesting relationship dynamics. Like Janet Gaynor's primary relationship is like really, yeah, she's great. Janet Gaynor's in it, she's great. And that relationship is really kind of sweet with the news reporter. And the other one with her brother is just really fucking funny, where he's like banging the shit out of this girl, and then like, and she's basically just like, this is just for the fair. And he's like, I was gonna ask you to marry me. And you're like, you feel so bad for the dude. I think it's great. Honestly, I really liked it. Yeah, I would put it below Private Life of Henry VIII, but above Little Women. I gave it 4 stars.
Based on everything you've said, I trust your judgment with that. Even if I do have a certain movie higher that is getting lower and lower as time goes on, but that's okay.
Yeah. The kind of double-edged sword of this segment is that if you don't watch the film, you don't really get to really get to say anything about it.
So I am learning now. I have to get my shit together. And
yeah, this will be the co-host segment as long as this will be whoever's segment wants to do the legwork for it. I saw all the films that I really wanted to this week. I was aware of how good I'm a Fugitive from a Chain Gang is, so I was like, you know what? I'm already aware of that film. I'm going to see other films that I'm more interested in. I do not regret my choices. Honestly, my choices have got very high, and yeah.
So
very good times.
You said below Henry VIII, but above Skippy.
Yep.
Cool.
All right, so that is the new top 5. Is I'm a Fugitive from a Chain Gang takes the top spot. The Private Life of Henry VIII holds at number 2, State Fair at number 3, Skippy at number 4, and Little Women at number 5. That is the Picture extra credit film. Lady for a Day, Sunrise, Shanghai Express, 42nd Street, and I can't see what the last one is. Smiling Through. Holding the number 10 spot. That is your current top 10 for the extra credits. This is going to be a really weird list by the time it ends.
Yeah.
The time this
is going to be so weird when we get to the point where, like, when we get to the 2010s and my dumb ass is like, I just watched every movie this week just because I wanted to rewatch them. And the list then becomes, like, all the movies from 2019 in the top 10 and then everything else.
I can't wait for the year of La La Land where you spend.
Oh my god! The year of La La Land is going to be like unanimous. It'll be like the three of us will be like, "This is number 1," or "I quit the show." Like it'll be like, "La La Land is the best movie we have watched for the podcast." Period. End of sentence.
That's it. So
and then there's me that's like, "It's good, but shut up."
Yeah, but the best part
you'll be
is been overruled.
Well, you're yeah.
That's the best part.
Because Matthew loves it too.
Yeah, it's great. So that's that segment. What do we have to do next week? What's
Next week?
Oh, right. Next week is a good
one
movie.
Night.
The next week is a good movie. See, this is the problem. Is
the first one that I have actually seen before the show is It Happened One Night. And it's the first win for Columbia Pictures. First win for Columbia Pictures.
Congratulations to Columbia Pictures. After that, Jack, what's up? What's up next? Mutiny on the Bounty will be kind of probably a downer after It Happened One Night, if everything that I've heard is true. But
I've heard it's good.
Fine.
I've heard it's really good.
I've heard good things.
After that,
Charles Lawton. So,
and then
Great Ziegfeld. Left Turn.
This I've heard is bad.
This I've heard is bad.
I've heard not good things.
And do we have an after one? What's after that? Do we have another one?
No, we just have the 3.
That's The Life of Emile Zola is the one after that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, then
I don't have a banner for that.
That should be a thing. So final thoughts for the week. Honestly, don't watch Cavalcade because there are much better movies. We have recommended.
Watch I Am a Fugitive from a Chain Gang. Please do yourself that favor. It is short, sweet, and like the best movie for the podcast so far. If it had won Best Picture, I would have voted it above All Quiet on the Western Front. Like that, that'd be like far and away the best movie to win Best Picture so far for the show. But yeah, like that's the thing. I'll put a bow on it from my perspective. Having seen all 10, they got it the most wrong they could by giving it to Cavalcade. Cavalcade's the worst movie nominated for Best Picture in this class, and there's like a solid star gap between the next one, which is A Farewell to Arms. I would say that this class as a whole is wholly disappointing to me, like very disappointing to me. Because I had been under the impression that a lot of these would be at least interesting and fun. But like looking at them, it's like I'm a Fugitive from a Chain Gang is top tier. Lady for a Day is good. Little Women is good. Private Life of Henry VIII is really good. State Fair is really good. And the rest of these can like go to hell. A Farewell to Arms and She Done 'Em Wrong and Smiling Through and 42nd Street are all fine. There are movies that I would not have nominated for Best Picture, except 42nd Street's like on the bubble.
This is a 10 movie nominee year, and half of them don't deserve it, from what I understand.
Exactly. And I mean, when you look at these, half of them were only nominated for Best Picture and nothing else. Like Smiling Through and She Done 'Em Wrong were only nominated for Best Picture to fill out a top 10. They're not deserving of those nominations whatsoever. And like that's why like we're gonna have 10s until 1944. And honestly, I can see why they went back down to 5. Because, like, right now we're going through years where it's like they're giving us top 10s, and only 5 of these movies deserve to be nominated for Best Picture. Like, at best. Like, it should have been State Fair, Little Women, Lady for a Day, Private Life of Henry VIII, and I'm a Fugitive from Chain Gang. Those should have been the 5 for Best Picture, and it should have gone to Chain Gang, and we would have a much different discussion about, like, how prison systems work in America and justice and law enforcement and tactics like that, and it would have been a much better podcast episode. But instead we have to relegate I Am a Fugitive from a Chain Gang to like a 15-minute tag at the end of the episode as being just a great movie that we watched that's better than the movie that won. And that's so irritating to me. Like, I mean, next week is going to be great because it's like we're going to watch It Happen One Night and we're going to get to see Capra as Capra in full form for the very first time. And we're about to go on a run where it's like Capra does this. Capra wins director. Capra wins director for Mr. Deeds. Capra wins director for the three-peat for You Can't Take It With You. He doesn't win for Mr. Smith, but it's his best movie. And then it's a little bit of a break because he's off making World War II propaganda movies and documentaries and shit. And then he comes back and goes, oh, I want to make a real movie again. And makes It's a Wonderful Fucking Life. And just like steps up and hits a homer. Like, and gets nominated again. Like Frank Capra is one of the best directors of all time. So to watch Lady for a Day and have it be like fine was actually really disappointing to me. Where it was like, this is good, I like it, but like for like stacked against the own potential of Capra, I didn't love it as much. But like we're about to run through the time where the Academy respected and loved Frank Capra so much that we would give him 3 Best Director Oscars in a row. And I'm so excited to watch It Happen One Night, Mr. Deeds Goes to Town, You Can't Take It With You, and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. A 4-film run that is honestly an undefeated 4-film run. I say that having not seen Mr. Deeds Goes to Town, but I assume it's great. So I'm very excited, and It Happened One Night. It's going to be great next week. It's the first time we're going to have like a good movie.
Yeah, and Spence will be here to ruin it with things like, it was okay, I guess.
Well, they aren't.
Well, Spence won't be here.
Yeah, that's what I said. Spence won't be here to be like, it was all right, I guess. You can't.
Actually, no. Spence had it. It happened one night in their top 100, I think.
At one point,
At one point, yeah. Okay, so there's that. Anybody else? Any final thoughts for the week before I take us home? This show got long because we did all those extra credits.
Oh, sorry. One last question.
Okay.
What extra credits are people watching next week for?
Snap!
I'm gonna try to watch as many as I can, but the ones that are taking priority are The Thin Man, Cleopatra, and The Gay Divorcee.
I will be watching The Thin Man, and I think that's all I will have time
The
for
Barrett's
this
of
week to
Wimpole
actually
Street.
watch.
I might watch.
Decent. I'm definitely watching The Thin Man. I don't know about the rest.
This doesn't strike me as a very interesting year, and I don't really like. The most interesting movie to me is The House of Rothschild, but then I think, do I really want to sit through another one of these? And the answer, honestly, is no. So I probably will just be watching.
And Wimpole Street came second. Rothschild came third.
Okay. Wimpole Street was the one I wanted to watch because of the cast, like the three: Norma Shearer, Frederick March, Charles Laughton. And so I was like, okay, that looks interesting.
Part of me wants to watch Cleopatra, but I don't, it's fine. Okay. All right, so I guess that's it for this week's edition of Picture This. Oh my God, we're getting into. At least we're gonna get one good week. Tune in to next week to see probably Unbridled Positivity, unless one of us, I don't know, gets a head injury and hates it happened one night. It's possible. You never know. So for everybody here, happy Mother's Day.
I do wish we could chat longer, but I'm having an old friend for dinner. Bye.
Happy Mother's Day?
Yep.
Okay.